doing today?
We're good. How about you?
We're good.
Doing good. How are you guys dealing with the corona effect day in, day out? How much has your life changed or not changed? So, yeah, let's hit on that first.
Go ahead. You can start.
I think it's pretty much the same throughout the state. Everybody's in isolation, and iCity I work for just did a curfew, and work has changed for sure.
Right. Are you guys working at home?
Well, I can't
You
because
can't?
I'm a cop. Yeah. So I'm just doing a lot more overtime than usual.
Yeah.
Wow.
They just got her out there doing a lot of overtime, and she's a police officer, so she's always got to be out there. I wish she could stay home and go crazy with me. But
Right.
God bless all the first responders and police officers and medical workers out there just being on the front lines of this and, helping everybody out.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Wesley. And there's so many jobs that's affecting on a daily basis. A lot of people out of work. A lot of people can't work. Some people are trying to work some from home. But yeah, like Lisa, it looks like you're working more, and some people are envious of it. But then there's a flip side of it. Yeah, like you're, for one, Wesley's at home. And then two, yeah, you guys, I don't envy it at all. I'm almost, very thankful of, your hard work. That's a tough job. Like you said, Wesley, on the front lines, it's, dangerous to say the least before the pandemic. And now with it on top, it's unbelievable. So yeah, thank you very much, Lisa. That's awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, bro.
So you have a dangerous job outside the octagon and inside the octagon. Lisa, when did you kind of cross over? Have you always been a fan of mixed martial arts, or have you always trained to fight, or when did that kind of crossover happen?
Yeah, when I was still in Canada, I started training in 2003, but it was just karate. And then when I moved to the States, Trey's gym, Team Remedy, was the first and only gym that I started at in the States. And I had the itch to fight, so then I started training jiu-jitsu as well. And then, Wesley was the wrestling coach over there too. That first fight, my plan was just to be one and done, just to check the box. And then, that didn't work out because I did another one after that. But it's a passion. I don't know if it'll be a career because I can't risk the injury with work because my job pays bills. So it's not off the table, though, because every time I finish a fight, I'm just ready for another one. So I don't know. We'll see.
That's so funny you say that. I hear that all the time. It's like that itch. Even if you just kind of get in the gym, like, hey, I just want to train or work out. And then all of a sudden a coach sees you and then one of your friends are there. You're like, hey, you could jump on this card. You could be a short notice fight or whatever. And then you get that itch to fight. And now 1-0, 2-0, your last fight, 14 seconds, right? XFN?
14
seconds. Yeah.
So no damage, still clean, all that. So that's always good if you can get that job done over and over again. That's the big bucks, the Masvidal, they call it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I decided after that fight, because that was a catch weight, I decided that I'm going to do no more catch weights. I'm going to stay down at 105. Typically, the lighter the girls are, the shorter they are. So it might put me at a bit more of an advantage. So I don't want to be, again, I'm just trying to mitigate the risk a little bit.
Right. And I would assume, usually less power, the less weight. When you fight a heavyweight fighter like Francis Ngannou, there's so much power in those hands.
Right.
So, yeah, that too. It's funny you mentioned that. I had that in the back of my head with you, Wesley, especially with Trey Alador and Remedy. And okay, so I know you were up there, and especially with a couple island fights, and we'll kind of talk about that in a second. But then I think it was maybe 8-10 months ago, I'm down there with American Top Team here in Coconut Creek, and I'm there with Mike Beast Boy Davis. And then I look over and I see you there, and I'm like, Wesley, what are you doing here? And it's like, oh yeah, I kind of live in here, stay down here. So when did that move happen? And are you guys 100% down south now?
Yeah, definitely. I originally moved down here in 2013 to train and live down here, and then it was like around 2016 I had to move up to that area where up to the northwest area to just help take care of some family. So I just had to find a gym up there, and that's when I found Trey and all them. And then I would try to get down here for part of the camp as much as I could. And then, eventually once, me and Lisa got together, I kept telling her all about American Top Team in South Florida and everything. And, and then once everything kind of got worked out, we made the move back down here together and, introduced her to that gym down there. And it's been, just a fun ride ever since. It's good to be back down here, and it's awesome to see her and her development just in a place like that, because she can only do just better, and it's only just going to make her. And as you can see, 14 seconds. Hey, what else can you say? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You guys hit on the nail on the head right there for sure. Down there at American Top Team, the females down there, Lisa, are incredible. Both Kayla Haracha, Kayla Harrison, Joanna's, and Jillian Robertson. We just had her on. She was the 200th episode. There's so many more. There's so many to name. And Nunez, everything else. The talent down there, you just can't. You can't get worse, or you can't degress. You have to progress, or they're just let you go. It's like sink or swim down there. So how is it? Was it intimidating walk into that gym and be like, oh my goodness, this is some of the best female talent, all mixed martial arts, and then I'm here?
Very, very intimidating. I was stuck so close to Wesley's side, the first couple of times we walked in, and, it was kind of like first day of kindergarten. It's really what it felt like. And I was so starstruck. Sometimes I still am, just getting like the chance to roll with people like Jillian Robertson and having sparring partners like Bigfoot Silva's daughter, Annie. She's incredible. These girls are high level, and you realize how finite you are, and you just feel kind of like a simpleton, which is good because it keeps me humble, and there's just some big shoes to fill over there.
Absolutely. What do you think is the ceiling for Annie? I've been hearing her name for last year or two. I've talked to her once or twice down there. Same thing. I think, of course, UFC bound in a couple years, since she's still so young and so raw. But with the pedigree with Silva and her dad and, a lot of name in the gym, she has like a lot of buzz around her name. So I would think, the girls and heavyweights, they progress them really fast. I can see her literally in the UFC in 18 months, 24 months. Is that off base?
And she doesn't pull any stardom from her dad whatsoever. Like her last name is Barrow, and she doesn't ever say, I'm Bigfoot Silva's daughter. I didn't even know that until I found out on my own. And she's been racking up fights. She already has 4 fights in, and she's fought at flyweight and bantamweight. And I think everybody agrees that flyweight is her niche right there. So she's gonna go very, very far. She'll probably be pro within the next couple of years.
Right. And then that's actually a really good point. And it's almost, there's no right answer, I guess, is like the weight classes. And you just said you would love to go down to 105. All the time I hear, athletes that they want to, if it's 10 pounds, they would like to maybe cut that so they can, fight smaller and you be the bigger, longer, rangier fighter. But lately, it seemed like last year, a lot of fighters were moving up in weight, especially 2 in your camp was Dustin and Georgie Masvidal, who's kind of moving up in weight. Girls have been doing it too. Joanna went back and forth. Where you guys, it seems like both of you guys are on the try to maybe get down to wherever you feel the best and a little bit more comfortable to be the bigger fighter. Sometimes I feel like putting almost your normal weight. It's a little bit less of the camp of losing the weight 5-7 pounds a day or two before. How do you guys feel on weight cuts?
Well, Wesley, actually, you're moving up.
Yeah, as you guys know, my career's been pretty much of a roller coaster. I took a lot of short notice fights that I probably shouldn't have, but I just, me, I like to fight. I'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. It don't matter. And before, with the very first time I ever made 155 pounds, I felt great, but it was just like for some reason after that, it was just hard to make the weight. And I took some fights, like I said, short notice. And, at when you're fighting at that lighter weight, short notice fights aren't really that good, And then the last couple of times I moved up to 170, and the first one I lost, it was just kind of like, I was in my head. And the second one, finally got to fine tune everything, and I got that first round knockout. So it's like, I'm 170. I feel is my weight class for myself, because I feel better. I can train hard. I can, get the nutrition I need and not cut all that weight and kind of destroy myself.
Right. That's what I'm thinking too, man. I think fighters that are a little bit more their natural weight, eat more, get stronger, get bigger, and then do a little bit of the weight cut, of course, 5, 7, 8 pounds at the end. I think that's going to be where fighters are going to go in the future. You mentioned your career roller coaster. People say that, right? Fighters say, "Oh, I'll fight anyone, anywhere," and it's like a cliche. Not for Wesley Golden. Like, that is 100% you. I talked to so many promoters, especially my main man, Dean Toole. He goes, dude, I can call Wesley, and I'm telling you, I'll be like, hey, I got a co-main event in the heavyweight division. You want it? And you'll be like, yes, I'll take it. Like, Wesley Golden says yes, always. So how did that come to be? Is that just you grew up that way, or you just, when in the fight game, you just keep on wanting to get it? And, what mentality you have to always, in a weird way, say yes? Like, you're just always game to fight?
He's crazy.
Well, crazy. Yeah, crazy. You got to be crazy to do this kind of sport, I absolutely, growing up, I was terrified of fighting. I always avoided a conflict if I could, and then it was after the military, once I was exiting the Army, I really had to like find something to do, but I couldn't be normal. I couldn't just go out and do the normal thing. So I had to find something. I found fighting, and it saved my life, and I consider every win and loss up in my career as a lesson. It's just a lesson to learn. And one of these days, hopefully after that last fight, that knockout, I can just keep everything fine tuned and get myself where I need to be to actually be, looked at as a guy that can fight in the UFC, Bellator, or PFL, anything,
Yeah, I would love you in the PFL. When you said that, I thought of that right away. Tournament style, the toughest guys in the world. I think you would be badass in the PFL.
That's my dream. Any one of the big promotions just is my dream to be in. Everybody wants to be in the UFC. Sometimes it doesn't pan out that way. All I thought about was the UFC before, but
right.
It comes to a point where you just got to be like, not give up, but I'm just saying you gotta just ride the wave. Whatever happens, and just keep on winning. That's all that matters.
Right. Man, have you guys ever thought about trying to be in the same camp at the same time, maybe even on the same card, or do you guys like to, alternate and kind of, support the other partner?
Funny you should say that, because we're trying to get on the same card for Combat Night. June 27th.
Oh, okay. Is it
June
down
27th.
south in Burrard?
Yep. Yeah. June 27th down here in Coconut Creek. I think we're pretty much good to be on that card together. Finally.
Awesome. That's fun. There you go. I didn't even know that. Usually, I don't know if you guys saw. I just talked to Mitchell Chamali like 3-4 episodes ago. It was a great chat. He really talked everything about the Combat Night Duval, the only show in America with Combat Night. It was a really good show. It was good. And so June 27th, I'm hoping the world is back to normal by that time. We are. What do you guys think? What's your outlook on that? Are you guys? I think there's the half glass full person and the half glass empty person. I'm the half full. I'm hoping at the end of April, 30 days social distancing, May 1st. I'm hoping to get back into the groove. How about you guys?
Definitely.
Yeah, I seriously underestimated this virus. I thought it was a big sham, and I wasn't worried whatsoever. And then people just started dropping out like flies, and my coworkers were just getting exposed on calls, and then they got sent home and they had to quarantine. And I don't know if you saw that in the news that we already had an officer down here with the sheriff's office die, and he was young and healthy, and just because of exposure on calls. And that's what we're doing all night long. I'm on night shift. Right. All night long we're exposing ourselves to people, and the dispatcher, they'll try to screen everybody while we're on our way to the call, and they'll ask them, the screening questions for COVID. Of course, it's self-reporting, so people can lie because they want us to respond. Right. So you just never know. You have to treat everything like it's the worst case scenario. So now it's like we're showing up in hazmat suits, gloves, masks, and that's kind of the new normal for us now.
Wow, that is wild. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I really do. Thankful. It's just so many people, risking more than, it's unbelievable to see that people that have to stay at home and how, upset they are. And we have the family. We're watching a lot of Netflix. We're watching Disney Plus with all the kids, and a lot of people are like,
Mhm.
"Oh my goodness, we're at home." It's like, guys, this is, hate to say that this is a little bit of a mini vacation for a lot of us. We should be very happy and grateful we're at home and all that. And then, people like you, Lisa, that are just risking everything for the next person, which is just awesome. It's just very, very honorable, and just, yeah, I'm very thankful. I didn't know this going into it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for job security because I know a lot of people out there are struggling, and the small businesses are doing everything they can to keep their doors open for takeout only, delivery only, and they're just making a meager living like that. And yeah, I mean, to me, it's a great thing to have the job security. I'm exhausted with the overtime, but
Right.
it'll pass. It'll pass.
Right. And it's hard, like you said, overtime, the paycheck, it's hard to turn it down. And yeah, it's just one of those things. So, you did mention earlier, Lisa, that you were iffy about maybe turning this into a profession or into a career. But just say June 27th, combat night, down there in Coconut Creek goes well, even really quick again. One more, seems like I said, especially amateurs on the female side, especially a lighter weight, you go 3-0, 4-0. Yeah, a show like Combat Night or XFN or Island Fights up there with Dean Toole, Wesley, that you fought for many times, they will definitely want you. They would want you to see how far you can take it. Would you, if you're at that spot, 3-0, 4-0, maybe 5-0, would you be like, okay, let me take one, let me see how it goes, and just let it play out, or are you kind of set on just stay an amateur? Wesley's laughing.
Knowing me, yeah, I'm gonna keep fighting. It's gonna be one more, and then one more. That's me.
You're gonna be like 9-0, like Ronda Rousey, the face of UFC, and be like, hey, maybe one more.
Yeah.
She definitely has the potential, and the ability to, and the drive and the work ethic to go to the top. I just told her, she can do whatever she wants in this life. Anything she wants, whatever she chooses, I'll be right there with her.
Right. No,
And she didn't mention, before all this quarantine stuff happened, we were supposed to be flying to Mexico for her in May, because she was fighting in the Pan American Games for to represent Team USA. And when all this is finally done and they get that rescheduled, that will happen. She will be representing USA in the Pan American Games one of these days.
wow. No, that's awesome, Lisa. Wow.
See what I mean? Like, I say I'm not gonna do it, and then I have
And then, so with you starting with karate, so would that be on it to say that you're more of a stand-up? You like to stand up as a fighter, or are you love ground? Do you love all aspects of it? Kickboxing? What's your kind of go-to?
you would think that I'm more of a stand-up fighter, but all my fights have ended on the ground, so I don't know. Maybe it just the grappling comes naturally. I don't know. It's kind of disappointing. I haven't had a chance yet to showcase my striking.
She wants to kick somebody in the face, man.
Right, right. I say that all the time to fighters. It will come. If you get 14-second submissions, just take them and move on. The stand-up war will come. Wesley, I've seen you fought probably 2 or 3 times live. What's your kind of go-to if you had to? You're a perfect fight in Wesley Golden's eyes. Would you like to stand up more and really, use your jab and kick as well? Or would you like the ground game? I saw you got a 6 submission at one of the Island Fights. I think 50 or 51, somewhere in there, if I remember right. But what's your kind of go-to?
I used to kind of go out there with a game plan, like how I want things to go. And every time I do that, it always goes opposite. So honestly, I let the fight develop, and I just let it go. I don't really try to think about it too much anymore. And, and the perfect example of that was my last fight. I went out there, and I don't even, honestly, this might sound weird. You probably have heard it before. I don't even remember the knockout. I just remember being out there, and in the moment I just relaxed and just let the fight go. Boom. I had a win,
I hear that all the time. It's so funny you say that. Win or loss, but especially on the win, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. They don't really remember. And I hear that too. The best time when something, it's like a light switch goes off. It's like when you can relax almost and have fun inside the cage. That's when you let your skills go. That's when you be the best you can be. So I've heard that all the time. That's really great. Guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on. If you guys have any sponsors you want to plug, I know Toughs or Times, or even, small businesses down there that you would love to plug, or a gym, go away.
Well, of course, we got the Phoenix Fight Gear. They've got us both got them. They treat us pretty good. We love Fight Bananas. Thank you for having us on. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Just want to thank all the promoters out there and all the organizations, all the regional shows, for just doing what they can and giving us a platform to to showcase our skills and achieve our goals.
And Elite Sports Company.
Elite Sports.
And the Police Athletic League.
Yeah, Elite Sports Police Athletic League.
Very cool. No, let me end it on that. That's a great point. Especially you guys. You guys worked with, especially you, Wesley, Dean Tool with Island Fights, XFN down there, a great crew. Combat Nights, a great crew. I know you worked with them. Excellent. And maybe in the future. You guys really do have a great, regional promotional scene, especially here in Florida. I say this all the time. Florida has the best regional scene in all America. How cool is it to have these great promotions? At least I know Dean would love to have you fight up there in the Panhandle. A lot of stuff's coming up soon. So, do you guys feel, gracious to have all these great, promotions you can fight for?
Yes, very.
Yeah, very much. I used to, I did have a fight scheduled for up in Massachusetts. I think it was this month, but that got canceled. Ever since I've,
met
Dean and got to fight on Island Fights, it's like I really don't like to leave Florida anymore.
Yeah, he's good to us.
It's nice. And I tell you what, thanks, Dean, for just ever having me on for the first time. There was a time I was walking down and I found him during who was it? It was Brock Weaver fighting Max Mataski. And I told him, I walked up to him, I said, I want the winner of that fight. And you know what, man, he made it happen, and thanks Dean Tool and everybody over there at Island Fights for everything. Combat Night, everybody down here. Just you guys are awesome. Keep up the hard work, man, and I'm coming after that belt, man.
Awesome, guys. Both of you stay really safe, especially you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate everything you do. All the cops here. One of my best friends in the whole world, he's a cop here in my hometown, and same thing. He's working day out. So it's, like you said, people are on the front lines really battling it. Thank you very much. And guys, stay safe. We'll talk soon, maybe like right before June 27th. If everything goes good, we'll get you both back on, and we'll talk about both the Goldens on the Combat Night show. I like it.
That's right. The Golden Fighting Family is going to be a household name. You wait.
I love it. That's a TV show on E coming soon, I think, guys.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, David.
Yeah, have a good one.
That's cool.